Okay, directing petroleum railway tanker car operations, given the requirement to direct loading in 10192 F3314, given the requirements to direct loading and unloading petroleum products of the railway tanker car's field environment, personal materials required to perform the task for military occupational specialists, soldiers, petroleum railway tanker car, petroleum tanker vehicles, fire extinguisher, railway risk management procedures, material safety data sheets using standing operation procedures, facility response plan, spill prevention control countermeasures plans, personal protective equipment, spill kit contamination cleanup equipment, DOD Form 1348-1A, issue release from receipts, DOD Form 250 material inspection receipt, review, DOD Form 251 tanker bars, material inspection, receiving report, and full access of all applicable reference and material. Standards directing the unloading procedure of all railway cars, fuel, accountability, quality service without injury and personal damage to the equipment and pollution of the to the environment. Danger. Failure to perform the task correctly may result in the equipment of the injury to the death of personnel. Wear the appropriate personal protective equipment such as a face shield, goggles, and chemical gloves as identified applicable reference of the material safety data sheet. Before task reading and complying with the before performing the task, read and comply with the appropriate material safety data sheet. 1. Apply the risk management procedure. Under implementation of risk management process, risk control command and guidance directed by the higher headquarters, success variable higher, so continuous report risk reduction measures appropriate for the chain of command. Monitor, evaluate, execution and controls incorporated with the after action reviews, AARs. Individual implement environmental and stewardship measurements according to critical task 10192 F3312. Conduct briefing, ensure personnel knowledge of concept operations in accordance with operations orders, unit standard authorization procedures, specific guidance to pertain to the task of the mission, ensure the personal understanding of the mission and the task at hand, individual tasks and specific roles of every person to accomplish the mission, collective tasks of the groups need to perform to support the mission, and explain the degrees of the risk of involved the personnel needs to wear, the stress safety personnel to incorporate through the operations pillar prevention countermeasures, hazardous waste, hazard material management, environmental hazards. Discuss the specific guidelines that pertains to railway tanker car operations. Conduct the pre-combat checklist, pre-combat inspection for personnel, uniforms, equipment, and serviceability conformity in the mission, whether the environment, check the appropriate personnel equipment is worn, uh, check the operator license, dispense, preventive maintenance, check services records, check the equipment inventory to ensure the component measures, component parts, and systems are complete. Check the reference materials required by the TM, FM, or standard authorization procedure are available. Check the filter excessive test results. Ensure the current with the specifications. Check communications equipment, personal knowledge of the communication procedures, and operation instruction. Maintain communications lower to the higher echelon. Render the report as was required. Identify training or cross training for all personnel to include the licensing with section and equipment project, the maintenance of the repair requirements, ensure the precaution safety measures, no smoking, one-way traffic are posted and enforced. Select the site of the railway tanker car loading and unloading of the area operations according to the operation ORDs and standard authorization procedures. Directives consider a spur of bypass rail plan has adequate drainage, avid areas of the confined vapors. If the tank is be loaded, gravity loading in the site. If the tank Okay, right. Has yet to make sure the site has adequate drainage, avoid areas of confined vapors. If the tank or cars are loaded on the gravity, loading on the site may be below supply container. If the tankers are unloaded by gravity set, it must be evaluated enough to have a proper flow for the receiver container. The track should be level to ensure the accurate gauge of the reading to prevent the air from being trapped on one end of the tank when the dome is closed. If the tank truck is used as an unloading truck, unloading a tanker car, it should be grounded to more than one of the ground rods if the ground exists against the static electricity of stay current. A ground cable should be permanently belted between the track rails. Derails and wedge-shaped devices of wood and metal should be placed on the head of the car. Derails will prevent other cars from backing in the front of the car, backing into the tanker car during the transfer operations, although they are placed on the rails to prevent the tanker car from rolling. 10. Ensure appropriate equipment for loading and unloading operations are on hand if serviceable. Whether more than one filling point is loaded, and loading racks should be placed in several space to allow several cars to be loaded at one time. Ensure each filing point has a ground and bounding cables for the bounding filling point of the tanker car shell track. Bounding grounding of the car with the minimum of four cables. Ensure loading in the arm hose is loading enough to reach the bottom of the tanker car. Ensure the emergency valve is loaded with distance from the rack so that the line can be cut off in case of the fire of loading rack. Ensure distribution manifolds consist of necessary piping valves extending through the loading rack provides the outlets loading in the uniform service cars at the time. Hose lengths should be provided to permit loading cars through the dome. Manifolds, grounds, equipment with cable and bonding of the manifold tracks of the tanker's car. Ensure electrical equipment operating in such as lights and switch and motors must be explosion-proof. Construction must be in good working condition. Ensure wooden cone-shaped, suitable plug-in bottom outlet tanker car is a site available for the case in case of emergency. Check derails as they must be set, locked, operated so that to furnish protection intended. Ensure pumps assembly is positioned minimum of 50 foot from the railway car. Ensure appropriate personnel is on hand for perform the mission and prepares delivery schedule for the receipt of the product. Ensure operations conducting according to standard authorization procedures 1067-1 and DPAM 710-2 and 2, military standards 3004A. Ensure railway tanker car cleaning up prior operation. Tank should be clean if any of the following conditions exist. When the condition results in contaminated fuel, when the fuels have been mixed through the carelessness, when sediments and water accumulate in the bottom of the tank, when changing of the type of the fuel is transported, when required for maintenance. Ensure communications between the pump station operators, railway tanker car transfer filling point operator. C. Ensure that the product last carried of the tanker car is the same product being transferred in the tank. Ensure the identification seal is the dome cover recorded in ship documents. Notification. Identification seal must be approved. Seal one that cannot be removed without being destroyed. Check for the tampering, reviewing shipping documents. Initiate the receipt of the petroleum products. Check the sampling, gauging, and ensure the products of the specifications prior to the transfer. Observe operation safety, environmental violations. Take appropriate action to mediate violations. If the violations occur, to correct them. Provide status reports as required with local policy, the standard authorization procedures. Maintain records and reports according to standard authorization procedures. See and check task conditions and standards. Apply risk management procedures. Implement environmental stewardship according to critical task 10192 F3312. Conduct briefing, ensure personnel knowledge and concepts of operation. Conduct pre-combat checks and pre-combat inspections. Maintain communities with lower and higher echelon rendered reports as required. Identify training and cross-training for all personnel, including licensing for section equipment. Project maintenance of the prepared requirements. Ensure precautionary safety measures that were posted and enforced. 9. Selected site for the railway tanker cars and loading and unloading. Ensured appropriate equipment in the loading and unloading and operation was on hand and serviceable. Ensured appropriate personnel were on hand to perform the mission before air delivery schedule of the receipt of the project. Ensured operation conducting according to standard authorization procedures 1067-1. Pamphlet 710-2, military standard 304. Provide status report as required for the local policy of the unit standard authorization procedure. Maintain records report according to the standard authorization procedure. Scores go. If the steps are go, then the soldier no go. If in the steps are fail, the soldier goes and no go shall be gone wrong and do correctly. DA PAM 710-2, DAOD form 1348 1/8, DOD form 250 and 251. Field Manual 1067-1, 3112, 3104, Military Handbook 1022A, TM 410-4320, 34314, TM 104930, 24713 MP. I'm going to cut that then.